Good day, everyone. Good day, Visible Change TV viewers. Today, we're interviewing a musician, a music teacher, Linda Chabalala with a T. Welcome to our show, Linda. How are you?
I'm all right, Hlulani. I'm great. How are you doing?
No, I'm very great, man. This country we experience this thing of load shedding. So I need to be very straight to the
Yes.
point before where the power like we experience the power cut. Um, so
Yes.
you told me that you are Linda Chabalala, but I don't know more about you. Can you tell me who you are?
Okay, so my name is Linda Shabalala. I come from Davidton in Benoni on the East Rand of Johannesburg. I am a saxophone player. I'm a musician. I've been playing music, or a musician rather, since it's been a long time.
Mm.
For a couple of years. It's definitely more than 10 years. I've been a working musician. I've studied for my diploma and my honors, and I'm teaching now. I'm teaching music theory and practical saxophone. Yeah, I'm a young ambitious woman who is going for her dreams.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Nice description. Wow. So you mentioned that
Yeah.
you went to school for music and
Yeah.
you call yourself a musician, music teacher rather. So like how did you find
Yes.
yourself in this field? Like did you just were you born for this or just like the career and pursue it?
Um, so music I started when I was in high school. I think I was in grade 10 when I started. I was very interested in music, but also even before starting to study music from grade 10, before I was always in the school choir or in school plays at school, always singing or doing dancing and stuff. So I've always had that passion for the arts, for music. And so only after from grade 10, then I started studying it. And only after grade 12, that's when I went to formally like study music at the Music Academy of Gauteng, which is a community-based music school. And then from there, then the journey started up until this point.
Nice. Like you could have played any other musical instrument. You could have played piano. You could have played any other. So why saxophone?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I still love the piano, but the saxophone was actually chosen for me. So when I went to the school, the Music Academy, which is also in Davidton, um, when I got there, the founder of the school said to me, where after I told him I want to study voice and piano, he said to me, when he looks at me, when I look at you, I see a saxophone player. I want to give you a saxophone so you can play it. So since that day, I've only ever played the saxophone.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. And then, what kind of music do you play?
Um, Fortunately enough, when you study jazz or you studied a bit of classical music, you can play just about any genre of music. So I've played hip hop, I've played gospel, I play jazz mainly myself, but I've played all those other, and Afro pop I've played as well, and house music.
Oh, nice. And like, is saxophone mainly for jazz producers or what? Like, why are you more on
No,
jazz?
no. You can play any style of music that you like with whatever instrument that you're playing. It just so happens that I'm very passionate and I really love the jazz sound more than any other of the other sounds. But I also do love hip hop and house music as well. So I wouldn't don't be surprised in future you see me in the hip hop video or with house DJs, producers.
Oh, nice. No, I get that. And you mentioned that you teach music. Is it for your private in the private school? Are you doing it for yourself or being employed by any other organization?
No, I don't. I teach at so the very same school where I started out at. That's where I teach. So it's a community-based NGO type of school.
Okay. So, what
Yes.
kind of people do you teach there? Because there are people like me. I love
Yeah.
listening to music. So, if now I decide to say I want to play music now, so do you teach people like me, or do you teach people who have this, natural, instinct in playing music?
Yeah. No, we teach everyone. So there's all levels of people from there. We have beginners who've never touched an instrument ever. We also teach people who are at a more advanced level or who are like at an intermediate level where they have been playing, but there's some tools that they lack and they see the need to come to a music school to come learn how to better themselves.
Mm-hmm. And then, what are the challenges? What is difficult in teaching music, especially to people like me who have never touched an instrument, a musical instrument?
The challenges.
Hmm.
Um, so the challenge mostly for most people is owning your own instrument. That's what I found to be a challenge, because it also, when I was a student starting out, that was the very same challenge that I had. Access to funds in order to be able to buy your own instrument so that you can be able to practice at home or to practice wherever you want to go, or be able to go play with different people or different bands that you would like to play with.
Mm, okay. Oh no, so meaning that I must also own the instrument to at least practice alone when
Yes.
into the lessons. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yes. It makes the learning process easier and much more efficient for you as well as a student when you have your own instrument, as opposed to always having to borrow maybe from the school or from other people, because then you have to be at the mercy of those people whenever they want it back.
Oh. And then, what is it that your students like more about you?
My students. Jeez. Ooh, that's an interesting question that I would have to ask them, because most of the time I'm always upset with them and
Mm.
scolding them for not doing this or that or the other. But I think the one thing that I think I know about myself is that I am like a warm person. So whenever people are around me, they just want to talk and relax, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, no, I get it. You mentioned that to play more jazz. Do you have any composed songs? Do you have an album? Like, what's happening?
Yes, I actually just released an album on the 29th of May.
Okay.
It's my first album. It's a jazz album. It's a jazz African, South African jazz album, where I have worked with some of the best young musicians in the jazz world in South Africa. I don't know if you'll know people like Pelelo Mazibuko, who plays the drums. He plays for just about anybody, or everybody rather. There's Galing Goveni, who's from Pretoria. Mongezi Tonja, pianist also, who's worked with a lot of people as well. So I've just released it, and now it's on online, and I also have hard copies to sell, for people who still like to buy the hard copy.
And how much is the CD, and how do I get it?
So the hard copies are 150, and if anybody wants, because obviously now we don't have music shops anymore, they can contact me on lindashabs@gmail.com.
Okay. No, I'll put your details on the screen for the viewers to find you. And then
all right,
tell me more about your album. I want to know, like, what inspired the album, what inspired the songs to the album, what is it all about?
So the album is basically my journey from when I first started out in music up until this point, and all the songs are of like different things. So I have a song there that I call Nomza, and it's a dedication to my mother, just to honor her for being the mother that she is, and she has supported me and supported my dreams up until this point. But it also speaks of me honoring my parents. And then I have another song that's called, it's actually been quite a popular one on social media, called Nyatsi Ena. And I mean, if you know the Sotho language, you know what Nyatsi Ena is the other person in a relationship or marriage. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it also tackles like those kind of social issues. And there's another one called Gunzima Madoda in Zulu, basically translated into English, that it's really hard. Things are really hard. And I mean, considering the situation now with COVID, times are really tough for everybody. And it just it speaks of that situation, but it also gives the energy that things are going to get better, no matter how hard it may be.
And so some of these songs, because I know, like, if you've been in music, probably you've been starting to write music while you were still young. So are these songs new songs that you just came up with, or some of the songs in the album have been like in your diary, have been singing alone, and was it
some of the songs are really old. Like I say, they are talking, like, it's songs from when some of them when I first started out studying music. So it's songs that have been in my diary, as we say. And then some of the songs are songs that are most recent, from like 2-3 years back. And yeah, it's just, and then some of them I've been recording them all along the journey. So, but then the album only has like 9 songs. So it's a few.
And like, how are you planning to release your album? One album every year, or you'll be like those Michael Jackson, like waiting for 4 years, waiting for 5 years, what's happening?
Jeez. So right now I'm not sure, because I've just released my first one. I might be releasing another one next year, but I'm not sure. I'll see. You know how creative people are. We just wanna feel the vibes.
Yeah. I get it. Okay, so you mentioned something about COVID, and it's one of the questions that I wanted to make a follow up on. How has it been for you, teaching music, and also like composing music as yourself?
You mean during this time of COVID?
How has it been? Like, how has it been difficult for you, and probably with your students and like everyone around you?
Okay. All right. Um, it's been a bit of a challenge because obviously now we have to, in a classroom, have fewer students, and you always have to observe the protocol of having the mask. It's very challenging to stand in front of a class and try and speak out loud from inside the mask, and they also everybody's wearing masks, so it's been a bit of a challenge, but um because we can now be able to go back to our lives in a way, by having people go back to school and go back to work and stuff, that's been giving us hope, I think. And that makes the situation feel or seem better, because at least we can still go to class and study and teach, and go to our instruments and practice and teach the kids. So that gives us hope that at least maybe one day things are going to get better, or get back to some kind of normalcy that we used to have before.
Yeah. Nice, nice response, eh? Yeah, Visible Change viewers, we still with Linda Chavalala with a T. Yeah, that is of the experience during COVID, and also enlightening us about music. And yeah, she mentioned that she has produced an album, proposed an album not so long, and then we're going to give you the details on the album. And yeah, more on Linda is still going to come. So Linda, you know, when I watch movies, especially the movies that have to do with music, I see that
Mm-hmm.
musicians at times they involve themselves in drugs. There's too much. You can see that the industry itself is very rough. You to be able to compete and be known and expose yourself, you need to have a certain lifestyle. I've seen even like we know from newspapers, from media, they tell us that
Oh yeah.
artists, they at times they even die through using these drugs so that they can fit in the industry. So, what is your advice on that for, especially for the people who aspire to be in music? Like, how can you advise
Mm.
to at least survive in the music?
I would tell the people to stay away from drugs. Don't even like try or want to experiment or taste what those things are like, because once you start, you will never stop. That's you digging yourself that grave, and once you become an addict, it's just going to be a problem in your life. If even if you stop, you have moving on, you have health problems. So don't even get into those things, rather run away from such. And I mean, I don't think there's, or maybe I might be lying, but I don't think there's a musician out there, especially a working one in the industry, who will tell you they've never been offered. But why would people who've been in the industry for years run away, and a new person in the industry would want to stay and say, oh, let me experiment? You must gauge from those people who've been in the industry for a long time. If they run away, then you must also run away and stay away from such.
Yeah. So, like my question, like it comes, like I think there's too much pressure, especially in the media industry.
Mm,
There's too much pressure.
yeah.
So I thought maybe, uh, like for these musicians, especially the young musicians, the reason why they involve themselves in drugs and other content that is not good for them. I think probably they're trying to cope on the pressure,
Oh,
that
yeah.
they receive. So how is the
Yeah.
pressure in this industry?
um Look, there's a lot of pressure. There's because especially when you are at a high level, where you are constantly performing with people all over the industry, there's a lot of pressure. You need to keep up energy wise. If you're always forever always playing every week, you're always at gigs, at performances, And also, if maybe you're a recording artist, there's always a lot of pressure. But I think as artists, we must now also begin to find alternative ways in order to deal with pressure, in order to deal with the energy that we use a lot in order for us to be okay. Because also the pressure is from people's personal lives, having to keep up financially, because we don't get medical aid, we don't get UIF and payee and all those things, and any benefits. So obviously we have to provide everything for ourselves. So that's why people would push themselves too far so that they can be able to provide for their families and comfortably as well. So I understand, but then I would also really like urge artists to try by all means to stay away from such things, because once you begin, you're gonna be going backwards as an addict, and now you still have the same family that needed you to provide for them is still there waiting for you to provide for them. Now it's a problem because now you have a substance habit that you need to keep up with, which also takes money out.
Yeah. Oh, nice response. I would love more questions on that, but yeah, no, I think today it's more about you. I want to know more about you. I want people to know more about you and to get you out there.
Yes.
So, what
Okay.
is, I've seen like music goes with friends sometimes. It's just like some of us,
Mm.
we're still used to old school music, old sound, and old instrument, and that sound that tells you that no, this is the really, classic music. So, like I've seen like when I walk in the street of Pretoria, Mamelodi, especially like a lot of piano is playing, and yeah, I can see a certain trend. So now, which music is a threat to the kind of music that you play, or is it, or you need
Yeah.
to go solo, or is there any like a threat? I don't know. I don't know how to put the question, but is there any other music other than that you play that you think is a bit of a trend to you?
Um. She's right now. To be honest enough with you, I would say I have the privilege, because it's not everyone who has that privilege to be playing jazz. So right now I'm not into piano or house or any other sound. I'm just focused on the sound that I really love and I'm passionate about.
Like, or let me rephrase like this question. Sometimes you'll be like invited in a festival, and then when you look at the artists
Yeah.
that are being invited, some of them are going to be playing like house music, some of them playing hip hop. So now you there,
Oh,
you are playing jazz. Now, like,
yes.
you feel like you'll be number one there, or this any other kind of music that you think that people will like more of this music than mine.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. Now I get you. Yeah. Okay, now that, like, before COVID,
Mm.
because now we haven't had any festivals, especially where people are going to watch live music. But even before COVID, it was a problem, because a lot of us, let me say, musicians who are playing the instruments were complaining about um the jazz, so-called jazz festivals. Now they have, it's no longer just jazz music, but you find piano bands or gqom artists, or you find house DJs there, and Afro pop artists as well. So it's no longer just purely the jazz music, it's everything mixed with it. And what you we normally hear from promoters is that they need to bring in the numbers of people to buy the tickets, so they can make they have a good revenue at the end of the day. So now it's become about the money more than it is about the music, or preserving the music. So I don't think maybe the only jazz festival in this country that I would say is more purely jazz, or closest to being a purely jazz festival, is the Joy of Jazz festival, and maybe the Grahamstown festival as well.
Okay. Oh, I think I've asked you more questions. I have to like maybe arrange another interview with you because there are so many things that I want to ask you. Just that
You
now
want to?
people don't want to watch long videos, especially on like online because of data and other things. So
Yeah.
I need to really cut the interview short. So, like, what can you advise any person? Like, what is your slogan in life? Why are you, like, what is it that makes you to wake up in the morning and just want to move on? Because some of us, it's very difficult for us to like wake up and say, I'm facing this world. What is it that you use? How do you get the time? What is the courage? Yeah.
Okay. Um. Geez, especially during this time that we found ourselves in, there's been a lot of n- negative, or yeah, sort of negative energy, for lack of a better word,
Mm.
because a lot of people have lost their jobs, and because of lockdowns and everything. um I would say though, but there is still hope. I mean, if you're still alive, if you still have ideas about what you still want to do or want to achieve in life, there is still hope. So people should never give up hope. Instead, if a person feels like they're giving up hope and they don't see a light in their life, they need to speak to as many people as possible about that, so that eventually they can be able to get the help that they need, or the encouragement that they need, or the assistance that they need in life. Because once you keep quiet, like in Zulu there's a saying that ingane ingakhali ifele embelekweni, then you, like, it's like, if you don't say anything, if you don't speak out, you're gonna eventually die, and you die inside, while you're still alive. And eventually, if it's like that, then you start thinking other things, of like hurting yourself and stuff. And there are a lot of people who depend on us, especially I would say the generation of the 20 something year olds, 30 something year olds, 40 something year olds. There's a lot of our parents, of our brothers and sisters, or uncles or nieces and nephews who depend on us. So if you're going to give up, what's going to happen to your family?
Yeah. Okay, I know. No, I get it. I get it. You need just to be strong. And then, like,
Yeah.
how do you now
Yeah.
market your music? How do people find you? I'm going to give them your emails and so they can communicate with you. But in this time, how do you like market yourself? How do people get to know your music?
So my album is on the digital stores. It's called Convergence, Begazela Cieza. It's by Linda Shabalala. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it in the iStore, Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer, Pandora. Yeah, basically a lot of the major music stores you can find it on. It's called Convergence, Begazela Cieza. And then on social media, you can follow me to find out more about it, or to get the links. On Facebook, I'm Linda M Shabalala. On Instagram, I'm also Linda M Shabalala, and Twitter, I am Linda_Mapule.
Wow, nice. We are very thankful to have you in our TV channel. I thank you very much for your time. I've got a lot of questions. I think very soon, well, I'm going to interview you again, but now I'm going to be physically interviewing
Oh,
you, so we can have more time, and then things will be more abroad, and they are trying to get to understand exactly. But I also want
Yes.
to go to your music and the ways that you say there, like how did you come up with them, and then how did you blend them with the instruments and everything. So I think I still have to know you more on that. But
All right. No, not a problem. Thank you so much for having me.
thank you very much.